You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength, for true mastery lies within the stillness of our eternal conscious spirit. Marcus Aurelius. In the shadow of ancient Rome, one man pioneered a psychological technology so potent it remains the gold standard for regulating our modern, chaotic hormonal landscapes and human biology. Today, we explore the intersection of imperial discipline and molecular science, revealing how the habits of a philosopher king can drastically lower cortisol and extend your healthy lifespan immediately. Observe the invisible stress that currently erodes your DNA at a microscopic level, as we prepare to reveal the Emperor's hidden biological rituals for total systemic mental resilience. Greetings, seekers of evolution. Welcome to the Longevity Protocol. Today, we decode the biological legacy of Marcus Aurelius to optimize your hormonal peak performance and achieve absolute cellular health. Aurelius understood that stress is not merely a feeling, it is a systemic degradation of the biological machine, fueled by the ancient survival hormone known as the cortisol molecule. To understand the Emperor's mastery, we must first examine the mitochondrial impact of chronic high-alert states that drain our cellular energy and accelerate the shortening of our biological telomeres. Imagine a world where the pressures of leadership do not manifest as physical decay, but as a catalyst for deeper focus, enhanced immunity, and profound psychological clarity and strength. Marcus Aurelius faced constant plague, war, and betrayal. Yet his biomarkers remained optimized because he practiced a specific sequence of cognitive reframing that altered his internal chemical state today. His approach aligns perfectly with modern research into the vagus nerve, where intentional stillness and targeted breathwork can deactivate the sympathetic nervous system and stimulate rapid systemic cellular repair. By examining his daily journals, we find traces of a rigorous biohacking routine that focused on the oral microbiome and the timing of light exposure to synchronize rhythms. The foundation of the Aurelius principle lies in the radical acceptance of the present moment, which effectively shuts down the brain's amygdala and halts the production of stress hormones. This is not passive endurance. It is an active biological intervention that leverages the power of neuroplasticity to rebuild the prefrontal cortex for superior decision-making under extreme pressure. Modern high-performance athletes and Silicon Valley executives are now rediscovering these Stoic techniques, integrating them with real-time biometric feedback to achieve a state of metabolic and mental invincibility. We are entering an era where ancient wisdom provides the software and future technology provides the hardware for a human upgrade that can potentially push our biological limits further. As we dive deeper into the first protocol, keep in mind that your biological age is a flexible metric, dictated more by your internal environment than the passing calendar. The first pillar of the Emperor's strategy involves the concept of the inner citadel, a psychological fortress built upon the morning ritual of light timing and specific nutrient-dense intake. Scientific studies now prove that early morning sunlight exposure, a practice mirrored in ancient Roman architectural design, optimizes the cortisol awakening response for a focused and productive day. Aurelius utilized the quiet hours of dawn not just for writing, but to calibrate his sensory input, ensuring his nervous system was prepared for the immense weight of the empire. He understood that a leader's greatest enemy is an unregulated mind, which acts as a beacon for systemic inflammation and the slow erosion of cardiovascular health and cellular function. In this documentary, we will break down the exact molecular pathways that are activated when you adopt the Stoic gaze, a visual technique designed to lower blood pressure instantly. Later in this video, I will show you how to apply these imperial secrets using modern tools like wearable biosensors and artificial intelligence to monitor your stress in real time. By adopting the Stoic gaze, a specific visual technique designed to lower blood pressure instantly, Aurelius effectively rewired his brain to perceive chaotic threats as neutral and manageable data. Our ancestors faced acute threats like predators, but we face chronic threats like digital notifications and financial anxiety, keeping our bodies in a permanent and destructive state of emergency. This chronic state leads to insulin resistance, memory loss, and a significant reduction in the quality of our sleep, which is the primary window for mitochondrial and DNA repair. By the end of this journey, you will possess a complete longevity protocol that fuses the best of Roman Stoicism with the most advanced biotechnology available to mankind today. We will discuss the role of specific herbs used in the ancient world that are now being validated by clinical research for their powerful adaptogenic and stress-lowering effects. The discipline of the mind is the ultimate biohack, as it governs every chemical signal sent from the brain to the trillions of cells that make up your physical. Next, you will learn the exact herbal formulas the emperor utilized to nourish his nervous system during the most demanding trials of his long and illustrious imperial reign today. We return to the inner sanctuary of the mind, where Marcus Aurelius developed his first major protocol, known today as the view from above, for systemic regulation. This exercise involves shifting one's perspective from the micro details of daily conflict to the macro vastness of the cosmos, a shift that immediately suppresses your acute stress response. As I gaze upon the infinite stars, I realize my earthly burdens are but microscopic vibrations in the vast, silent machinery of a much grander and eternal cosmic order. When we zoom out mentally, our amygdala ceases its frantic signaling, allowing the prefrontal cortex to regain control and lower the systemic cortisol levels that accelerate our biological aging. Modern neuroscience confirms that this cognitive distancing practice reduces the inflammatory load on our cells, protecting our DNA from the oxidative damage caused by chronic modern life pressures. To integrate this ancient wisdom, one must also focus on the oral microbiome, which Aurelius supported through the use of specific herbal resins and daily imperial cleansing rituals. Clinical research now links the health of your mouth to the health of your brain, specifically how certain bacteria can trigger neuroinflammation and drive up stress markers today. The emperor's second protocol focused on the timing of light, specifically the synchronization of the circadian clock through exposure to the first rays of the rising imperial morning sun. By capturing blue light at dawn, he optimized his serotonin production, ensuring a natural transition into melatonin at night, which is critical for deep mitochondrial repair and rejuvenation. This light timing ritual remains the most effective biological hack for resetting your metabolic rate and maintaining a youthful bio-age, regardless of the chaos in the digital world around you. Imagine practicing this level of discipline, where every action is a calculated move to preserve your vital energy and expand your conscious influence over your own biological destiny. The third protocol is perhaps the most challenging. It is the voluntary exposure to discomfort, a practice that hardens the nervous system and raises the threshold for cortisol. The freezing cascade of the imperial fountain serves as a vital reminder that our physical vessels must be forged in the fires and frosts of constant biological resistance. This hormetic stress forces the body to produce heat shock proteins, which act as molecular guardians, repairing damaged enzymes and preventing the cellular decay that leads to chronic systemic disease. Aurelius did not seek comfort. He sought resilience, understanding that a soft body leads to a soft mind, and a mind that is easily swayed by external emotional storms. By deliberately stressing his physiology, he ensured that when the actual crises of the empire arrived, his cortisol levels remained stable, providing the clarity needed for supreme imperial leadership. In 2026, we can replicate this through cold plunging and heat therapy. combined with wearable technology that tracks our recovery markers to ensure we are staying within the zone. Notice how these 3 protocols, mental distancing, light synchronization, and hormetic stress, form a triad of biological protection that turns any human into a fortress of enduring strength and vitality. It is time to examine the specific adaptogens that the Emperor utilized to nourish his adrenals, substances that are only now being understood by modern molecular researchers and pharmaceutical scientists. These plants contain complex alkaloids that modulate the HPA axis, effectively dampening the signal that tells your adrenal glands to release toxic levels of cortisol during times of stress. Combined with the Stoic mindset, these botanicals create a chemical shield, allowing you to remain calm and focused even when your external environment is crumbling under extreme pressure. I will provide you with the exact ratios and timing for these adaptogenic protocols, so you can begin your own personal journey toward biological and mental invincibility right now. Within these silent halls, I document the chemical transmutation of fear into focus, ensuring that my spirit remains an impenetrable fortress against the corrosive tides of hormonal decay. Remember that the goal is not to eliminate stress, but to transform it into a tool for growth, just as the Emperor transformed the chaos of war into philosophy. As we transition to the next phase of our longevity protocol, consider which of these habits you can implement today to start lowering your biological age and increasing resilience. The road to mastery is long, but every single breath taken in conscious stillness is a victory over the entropy that seeks to destroy our physical and spiritual essence. Stay tuned, because in the next segment, I will reveal the hidden connection between Stoic virtue and the activation of the sirtuin genes, the ultimate keys to human longevity. You will soon discover how to manipulate your genetic expression, using nothing more than your thoughts and the specific dietary strategies utilized by the most powerful men in history. Next, I will show you how to rewrite your biological code, and how the Emperor's mindset can literally shield your cells for a longer and significantly better life today. Now we enter the core of our protocol, exploring how specific psychological triggers can activate the sirtuin genes, often referred to as the longevity genes of human survival today. These molecular switches are highly sensitive to your internal state, meaning every virtuous thought acts as a signal to repair broken DNA and enhance overall cellular energy production today. Science now proves that when Marcus Aurelius practiced negative visualization, he was effectively training his brain to handle high-stress data without triggering a massive and systemic cortisol release. This practice of premeditating future hardships keeps the nervous system in a state of high readiness, preventing the sudden spikes in blood pressure that damage your delicate vascular system. By imagining the worst-case scenarios, we deactivate the primitive fear centers of the brain, allowing the higher cognitive functions to dominate our biological response to any modern digital threat. Next, we look at the role of NAD+, a critical coenzyme that decreases as we age but can be bolstered through specific Stoic lifestyle interventions and dietary choices. The Emperor's diet, rich in specific polyphenols found in the ancient world, likely supported his internal NAD levels, providing the fuel needed for his cells to fight inflammation. We can now use advanced supplement protocols to mimic this effect, combining ancient botanical wisdom with modern manufacturing to optimize our biological age and maintain peak mental resilience. Later in this segment, I will reveal the specific foods that act as natural sirtuin activators, allowing you to build a nutritional fortress around your own DNA and health. Remember that discipline is not just for the mind. It is a metabolic necessity that governs the speed at which your body degrades or thrives in this complex world. Before we continue with the practical application of these imperial secrets, I want to show you exactly how sirtuins interact with your chromosomes to prevent the aging process. To stand before the chaos of an empire with a mind as still as a mountain lake is the ultimate expression of human biological and psychological mastery today. This mental fortress, which he called the inner Citadel, is a biological reality that can be measured through the stability of your heart rate variability and neural coherence patterns. To activate your own longevity genes, you must first master the art of cognitive stillness, a state where the body ceases its production of inflammatory signals and begins repair. Observe how the chromosomes tighten and protect their genetic payload when the mind is at peace, effectively slowing the biological clock and extending the functional life of the cell. This is the biological manifestation of Stoic virtue, where the external world has no power over the internal chemical environment that dictates your health, longevity, and overall peace. We are now discovering that certain botanical compounds used in ancient herbalism act as powerful mimetics of fasting, further enhancing the activity of your internal cellular repair systems. The combination of time-restricted feeding and specific Stoic mental exercises creates a synergistic effect that can potentially reverse markers of biological age in as little as 12 weeks. Think of your body as an imperial garden that requires constant maintenance and the right seasonal timing to bloom with health, strength, and an unbreakable sense of purpose. By controlling the timing of your nutrient intake, you align your biology with the circadian rhythms of the earth, just as the emperor aligned his leadership with law. When we examine the ancient records, we see a pattern of extreme discipline followed by periods of deep recovery, a cycle that is essential for maintaining hormonal balance. In our next logical step, we will examine the role of the prefrontal cortex in suppressing the amygdala's stress signals through a technique called the Stoic breath of fire. True freedom is found in the mastery of our biological impulses, allowing us to rise above the hormonal noise and live a life of profound purpose and strength. This is why the Stoic protocol is not merely a philosophy, but a comprehensive biological operating system designed for the ultimate evolution of the human spirit and physical form. Within the molecular structure of the body, we find the echoes of Imperial discipline, where every atom is aligned toward a state of perfect metabolic efficiency and cellular grace. Every cell in your body is a reflection of your mental state, responding to the subtle chemical shifts that occur when you choose virtue over vice and calm over chaos. Soon, you will see the exact biological blueprints that the emperor left behind, a legacy of health that has been preserved for thousands of years within the human genome. The secret lies in the balance between internal stillness and external action, a state of flow that optimizes every biological process from digestion to neural transmission and repair. Prepare to witness the next stage of your biological evolution as we reveal the specific herbal protocols for adrenal restoration and the mastery of your internal stress levels now. We emerge from the absolute silence of the transition to explore the precise botanical ratios that the emperor utilized to nourish his adrenals during the times of Great War. Modern studies into the root of Rhodiola rosea reveal that this specific mountain herb acts as a potent adaptogen, significantly reducing fatigue and enhancing cognitive clarity and mental strength. By modulating the HPA axis, rhodiola prevents the chronic exhaustion of the sympathetic nervous system, allowing for a sustained and steady state of peak imperial biological and neural performance. Combined with specific ratios of ashwagandha, these plants create a powerful molecular buffer against the rising tides of systemic inflammation and the rapid degradation of our cellular energy today. True strength lies not in the absence of pressure, but in the capacity of the biological organism to remain unyielding and vibrant amidst the total collapse of the world. The emperor's personal physicians understood that the gut and the brain are inextricably linked. a discovery that aligns with our modern understanding of the oral and gut microbiome systems. By maintaining a diverse internal ecosystem, Aurelius ensured that his body could produce the neurotransmitters necessary for emotional regulation, even during the most stressful periods of his long reign. We can now optimize this through targeted probiotic and prebiotic supplementation, synchronizing our internal microbes with the natural light cycles of the Earth to achieve a superior biological state. This synchronization is crucial, as it dictates the timing of cortisol release, ensuring that you have energy when needed and deep restorative sleep during the hours of total biological repair. The third habit of the Aurelius Protocol is the mastery of the vagus nerve, through a technique we now call the Stoic breath of fire, a powerful neural intervention. By performing specific rhythmic breathing patterns, you can manually override the sympathetic nervous system, forcing your body to enter a state of deep calm and high-performance neural coherence immediately. This practice oxygenates the brain and flushes the system of accumulated metabolic waste, protecting the prefrontal cortex from the brain fog that often accompanies high-stress environments and modern life. Aurelius used this technique before entering the Senate or the battlefield, ensuring that his mind was as sharp as his blade and his heart was as steady as stone. The Stoic breath of fire activates the parasympathetic branch of the nervous system, lowering heart rate and systemic blood pressure in as little as 60 seconds of focused and dedicated practice. When combined with the cold exposure protocols we discussed earlier, this breathing technique creates a biological environment where the longevity genes like SIRT1 can function with absolute efficiency today. Imagine possessing a toolkit of biological hacks that allow you to navigate any crisis with the grace and authority of a Roman emperor, unbothered by the storms of chaos. We are now entering an era where this level of self-mastery is no longer a luxury, but a necessity for anyone who wishes to thrive in the modern technological landscape. To write is to heal, a biological necessity for the emperor to process the weight of an empire and transform terminal stress into actionable, sovereign wisdom every single night. Every word he wrote was a biohack for his own mind, a way to reprogram his subconscious to prioritize long-term survival and virtuous action over short-term dopamine and fear today. In 2026, we can use artificial intelligence to analyze our own biometric data and suggest the exact Stoic intervention needed to restore our hormonal balance in real time and forever. The fusion of ancient philosophy and future tech allows us to build an impenetrable inner citadel, protecting our mitochondrial health and extending our biological youth beyond all traditional limits. By the end of this protocol, you will understand how to manipulate your SIRT1 expression through a combination of thermal stress, nutrient timing, and the specific Stoic mental gazes. This is the path to becoming a biological sovereign, a person who owns their own internal environment and dictates the rate of their own cellular aging through conscious intent today. We will now examine the role of oral hygiene in maintaining this state, specifically how cleaning the tongue and using herbal resins can prevent the leakage of neurotoxins today. These toxins, if left unchecked, travel via the cranial nerves to the brain, where they trigger the inflammatory response that raises your systemic cortisol and accelerates overall biological aging. Marcus Aurelius maintained this discipline even in his final days, understanding that the care of the body is the highest form of respect for the logos that governs us all. The protocols he left behind are not just historical curiosities. They are the blueprints for a new human evolution that combines pre-modern wisdom with post-human technology and deep science. Soon, you will find out the exact ratio of adaptogens and the timing of the morning light frequency used by the Imperial household to maintain absolute neural dominance today. Next, I will show you how to maintain your focus and biological integrity even during the most demanding and stressful trials of your long and truly illustrious career today. we return to the molecular architecture of the Imperial mind, where the specific frequency of dawn light acts as a catalyst for cellular detoxification and mitochondrial reset today. By exposing the eyes to the high-energy blue photons of the rising sun, we trigger a cascade of neurochemicals that optimize the cortisol awakening response and mental focus. This is the biological foundation of the inner citadel, where your internal clock is synchronized with the natural laws of the universe, providing an unbreakable shield against modern chaos. Modern science confirms that this light timing practice reduces the expression of inflammatory genes, effectively slowing the biological clock and preserving the integrity of your delicate mitochondrial DNA today. To achieve this state of imperial clarity, one must also consider the role of the oral microbiome in preventing the systemic leakage of metabolic toxins into the brain. Aurelius maintained a rigorous routine of oral cleansing, utilizing specific bitter herbal resins that are now being studied for their powerful anti-inflammatory and neuroprotective properties and effects. By eliminating pathogenic bacteria from the tongue and gums, we prevent the activation of the vagus nerve's inflammatory signaling pathway, protecting the prefrontal cortex from chronic cognitive decline. Next, we will discuss the exact formulation of the Imperial adaptogenic tea, a mixture of ancient roots designed to restore the adrenal glands and maximize your hormonal resilience. This nutritional fortress is essential for anyone facing the modern war of digital notifications, providing the biochemical support needed to remain calm and focused under constant high pressure. Within the stillness of the morning, I find the strength to face the burdens of the empire, knowing my biology is aligned with the eternal laws of nature. The emperor understood that leadership is a biological act, requiring the constant maintenance of the internal chemical environment to ensure sovereign decision-making and profound psychological endurance and strength. By adopting the Stoic gaze, a specific visual technique of broad-spectrum attention, he could instantly lower his heart rate and activate the parasympathetic repair systems of his body. You can replicate this today by simply relaxing your peripheral vision, a move that signals the brain to exit the fight or flight mode and enter a state of repair. This shift in attention is perhaps the most powerful and immediate biohack available to the human species, requiring no tools other than your own conscious focus and intent. When the mind is still, the body begins to heal, a process that is driven by the activation of sirtuins and the restoration of mitochondrial membrane potential across cells. Marcus Aurelius practiced this stillness daily, treating his morning rituals not as a choice, but as a metabolic mandate for the survival of his empire and his soul. Soon, we will explore the secret connection between the emperor's specific breathing sequences and the activation of the longevity genes that protect against the ravages of biological time. These sequences, when performed in a specific rhythmic pattern, create a state of heart-brain coherence that optimizes hormonal output and enhances the repair of the entire nervous system. Every breath is a signal to your cells, and by mastering the rhythm of your respiration, you master the rate at which your physical vessel ages in this world. Imagine possessing this level of control, where the external world can no longer dictate your internal chemical state, and you are the true sovereign of your biological destiny. Later in this video, I will show you how to measure these markers using modern technology, ensuring that your Stoic practice is translated into measurable biological results today. The fortress of the mind is built upon the discipline of the breath, ensuring that the flame of life burns steady and bright even in chaos. We are entering a new era of human potential, where the wisdom of the past and the technology of the future combine to create a superior biological existence. Within the molecular code of your body lies the blueprint for immortality, waiting to be activated by the specific psychological and physical triggers utilized by the great emperors. By mastering your internal environment, you become immune to the corrosive effects of modern stress, preserving your youth and your vital energy for decades to come today. Soon, you will learn the final Imperial ritual for total neural restoration, a practice that allows the brain to repair its own circuitry during the hours of stillness. This ritual is the key to maintaining cognitive dominance and mental resilience throughout your entire life, regardless of the challenges that you may face in the world. Next, I will reveal the hidden Imperial sequence for total neural rejuvenation that allows the brain to process decades of high-stress leadership without suffering from chronic biological decay. Prepare yourselves for the final revelation as we decode the ultimate longevity secret of Marcus Aurelius and the path to an unbreakable and sovereign biological future today. Entering the final layers of the Imperial protocol, we witness the culmination of mental stillness and biological power, where the sovereign mind dictates the cellular rhythm of the spirit today. The sirtuin activation sequence requires a precise combination of nutrient timing and psychological distancing, creating a metabolic shield that preserves your genetic integrity across all physical systems and cells. Observe how the molecular machinery of your body responds to the internal command of stillness, shifting from a state of emergency to a state of profound and systemic biological repair. By biohacking the vagus nerve through controlled discomfort, we reset the human stress response, ensuring that your biological age remains optimized and young regardless of your current chronological age. To lead an empire or a modern corporation, one must first lead the chemical messengers within their own bloodstream, transforming chaotic adrenaline into the focused power of virtue. Our oral health is the gateway to our neurological longevity, as the bacteria in our mouth can either support our cognitive function or trigger systemic neuroinflammatory decay today. By adopting the Emperor's daily cleansing rituals, we can prevent the migration of toxic proteins to the brain, maintaining our mental sharpness and hormonal balance for many decades today. Deep restoration occurs in the absence of light and sound, where the body can finally prioritize the repair of damaged enzymes and the clearing of metabolic waste products forever. The Circadian lighting protocol ensures that your internal biological clock is perfectly aligned with the natural environment, maximizing your sleep quality and your daytime peak performance levels today. As we approach the practical application of the Stoic breath of fire, observe how the neural networks of the heart and brain synchronize to produce a state of coherence. Imagine a world where every breath is a calculated step toward biological immortality, where your physical vessel is as unyielding as the marble monuments of the ancient Roman emperors. True resilience is the ability to maintain internal equilibrium regardless of external storms, a principle that I mastered through the daily application of these biological Imperial protocols today. The biological manifestation of virtue is a stabilized hormonal profile, where the production of sirtuins is maximized and the degradation of cellular structures is significantly slowed down forever today. We are now integrating these ancient habits with modern wearable technology, allowing you to monitor your stress markers in real time and make immediate biological adjustments for peak health. The inner Citadel is not a physical place, but a state of neural and metabolic invincibility built through the consistent practice of the Aurelius principle and protocols today. Prepare to learn the exact ratios for the adaptogenic formulas that the Imperial household utilized to nourish their adrenals and maintain their cognitive dominance over the known world today. Before we conclude this segment, I want to remind you that your biology is not fixed, but is a fluid reflection of your daily habits and your conscious intent. Within the molecular code of your body lies the blueprint for immortality, waiting to be activated by the triggers that have been used by the greatest leaders in history. The road to longevity is paved with discipline and the radical acceptance of nature's laws, allowing the human spirit to transcend the biological limitations of our primitive past. Next, we examine the connection between heart rate variability and the capacity for deep wisdom, revealing how the emperor's steady heart dictated the success of his entire reign. By mastering the vagal tone, you gain the ability to shut down the survival instincts that cloud your judgment and replace them with the clear vision of a leader. Every cell in your body is listening to your internal narrative, and by changing your thoughts, you are effectively changing the chemical signals that govern your cellular health. I have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, yet the only true victory is the mastery over one's own internal nature and the preservation of biological sovereign peace. In the near future, we will use artificial intelligence to personalize these Stoic protocols, ensuring that every human can achieve the level of biological resilience once reserved for kings. The fusion of ancient wisdom and future tech is the ultimate biohack, providing the tools and the philosophy needed to extend our healthy lifespan beyond all current limits. Observe the biological patterns of success within the human genome as we reveal the final secrets of the Aurelius protocol for total systemic restoration and deep mental longevity. Soon, I will show you how to apply these techniques in your own life, using nothing more than your mind and the natural light of the world today. Stay focused as we transition to the final chapter of our protocol, where the ultimate revelation of the Emperor's longevity secret will be unveiled for your immediate biological transformation. Now, we prepare to bridge the gap between historical philosophy and your molecular future, ensuring that your path toward immortality is guided by the light of Imperial Stoic virtue. We descend into the deepest levels of the Imperial laboratory, where the final secrets of the Stoic breath of fire are analyzed through the lens of mitochondrial energy today. This breathing technique creates a temporary hypoxic state that signals your cells to increase their antioxidant defenses and strengthen the membrane potential across every single physical cellular wall. Observe the 3D visualization of the heart-brain axis as it reaches a state of absolute coherence, where the electrical signals are perfectly synchronized with the natural laws today. I stand in the center of the storm, my breath steady and rhythmic, creating a localized field of biological and neural calm in a chaotic and noisy world today. By mastering the pause between breaths, we access the space where the prefrontal cortex can manually override the primitive fear signals that constantly flood our modern digital systems. This is the biological manifestation of temperance, a cardinal Stoic virtue that acts as a powerful molecular filter for the toxic hormonal messages that accelerate our biological aging. Later in this segment, I will show you how to monitor your HRV in real time to ensure you are reaching the Imperial threshold for total systemic mental resilience now. We can now integrate these breathing patterns with specific blue light frequencies to optimize the production of melatonin and ensure a deep and restorative sleep for total mitochondrial repair. The timing of these interventions is critical, as the body follows a precise circadian logic that was mirrored in the architectural designs of the great ancient Roman imperial temples. Imagine walking through a temple where every shadow and ray of a light is designed to lower your cortisol and enhance your connection to the eternal logos of the universe. This architectural biohacking is now being rediscovered by modern urban designers who seek to create spaces that nourish the human spirit and protect our delicate biological and neural health. Within these sacred spaces, we find the perfect environment for the activation of the sirtuin genes, the ultimate molecular keys to extending the healthy lifespan of the human species. My journals are more than records. They are the architectural blueprints for a mind that remains unshakable while the physical walls of the empire crumble and reform today. The fourth pillar of the protocol involves the intentional use of cold therapy to trigger the release of cold shock proteins that act as molecular guardians for your cellular integrity. This hormetic stress forces the cardiovascular system to contract and expand with imperial precision, flushing the tissues of metabolic waste and enhancing the delivery of nutrients to cells. In 2026, we can utilize smart cryochambers that are synchronized with our wearable devices to ensure we are staying within the optimal zone for maximum biological benefit and safety. Soon, you will discover how to combine this thermal stress with specific nutritional mimetics of fasting to double the rate of autophagy and cellular cleanup within your body today. This synergy is the secret to maintaining the youthful vigor and the mental sharpness that allowed Aurelius to govern during the most challenging imperial trials of his reign. We must treat our biology with the same respect that a general treats his army, ensuring that every unit is well-nourished, well-rested, and ready for any future conflict. By adopting this mindset, we transcend the victimhood of modern digital anxiety and reclaim our sovereignty over the chemical signals that dictate our health and our longevity forever today. Within this garden of bioluminescent wisdom, I find the chemical precursors to peace, for nature has provided the tools to protect the sacred temple of the imperial mind today. These plants are not mere decorations, but chemical tools that we can use to modulate the adrenal response and protect our mitochondrial energy from the corrosive effects of stress. By integrating these adaptogens into our daily routine with precise timing, we can align our hormonal output with the natural cycles of the sun and the moon forever today. This is the path to a life of endurance and virtue, where the physical vessel is a reflection of the ordered mind that resides within the inner citadel today. Stay focused, because I will soon reveal the final ritual for total neural restoration that allows the brain to process decades of leadership without suffering from chronic biological decay. We are nearing the end of our journey, where the ancient wisdom of the Stoics and the future technology of the digital age converge into a single longevity protocol. Imagine a future where your biological age is a choice, and your mental resilience is a fortress that no external event or modern crisis can ever hope to penetrate. This is the legacy of Marcus Aurelius, a gift of biological wisdom that has been preserved in the human genome for thousands of years, waiting for your personal activation. Prepare for the ultimate revelation as we decode the final sequences of the Imperial Protocol for absolute systemic regeneration and the total mastery of the human biological spirit today. We conclude our molecular journey into the Imperial household, where the absolute mastery of stress becomes the catalyst for the next stage of human biological and spiritual evolution today. By integrating the final adaptogenic ratios with the timing of your circadian light exposure, you create a permanent biological shield that protects your DNA and enhances your vitality daily. The secret connection between the Emperor's mindset and the activation of longevity genes is now clear, proving that virtue is the ultimate software for your biological hardware forever today. Through the lens of the eternal Logos, I see the human vessel as a sacred temple that must be maintained with imperial discipline to house a sovereign spirit today. To achieve this state of neurohormonal dominance, you must practice the Stoic breath of fire at every dawn, synchronizing your internal rhythms with the frequency of the morning sun. This practice flushes the system of accumulated metabolic toxins, ensuring that your prefrontal cortex remains sharp and your heart rate variability stays within the optimal range for longevity now. We have decoded the exact botanical sequence needed for adrenal restoration, providing you with a biological armor against the corrosive effects of modern digital stress and systemic inflammation today. Remember that every thought is a chemical signal, and by mastering your mind through Stoic discipline, you are effectively rewriting your biological destiny for a much longer and better life. The legacy of Marcus Aurelius is not found in monuments of stone, but in the resilience of the human spirit and the optimization of our collective biological and neural potential. Within this silent sanctuary of science and virtue, I document the final steps of your evolution, ensuring that the flame of your vitality burns bright across the long centuries. You are now the sovereign of your own biological empire, possessing the tools and the philosophy needed to transcend the limits of the past and build an immortal future. Use this protocol wisely. For the care of the body is the highest expression of respect for the universal logos that governs all life and all biological matter today. By maintaining the inner citadel of your mind, you protect the sacred temple of your body, ensuring a state of perfect metabolic efficiency and profound psychological and mental grace. Our journey into the longevity protocols of the great emperors is reaching its conclusion. But your personal journey toward biological invincibility and mental strength has only just begun today. Observe the light of your own spirit as it activates the final sequences of your cellular potential, transforming your physical existence into a lasting monument of Imperial Stoic virtue. In this final block of our masterclass, we summarize the three main habits: mental distancing, light synchronization, and hormetic stress, which form your unbreakable shield of longevity and health. To lower your cortisol and expand your life, begin each morning with dawn sunlight, practice rhythmic breathing, and face the cold with the unwavering courage of an imperial leader. Every cell in your physical vessel is a reflection of your mental state, responding to the chemical shifts that occur when you choose virtue over vice and calm over chaos. By mastering your internal environment today, you become immune to the corrosive effects of stress, preserving your youth and your vital energy for many years and decades to come. This is the biological manifestation of Stoic virtue, where the external world has no power over the internal chemical environment that dictates your health, longevity, and overall peace. The fortress of the mind is the only true protection in a world of chaos. Build it with discipline and maintain it with the light of eternal wisdom. Thank you for watching this deep exploration of the Imperial Protocol. If you found these ancient biohacks useful for your evolution, please like and subscribe for more content. Please share your thoughts and experiences with these habits in the comments below. As we build a community of high-performance individuals dedicated to the art of absolute longevity. Farewell, seekers of evolution. May your inner citadel remain unshaken by the storms of the modern world. Until we meet again in the next logical segment of our protocol. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and remember that you possess the power to rewrite your biological code and achieve a state of metabolic and mental invincibility right now today.